जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। श्रील रूप गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। श्रील जीव गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। Thank you once again, dear devotees, for kindly assembling here for the 56th session in the series of talks on Srila Rupa Goswami's Upadeshamritam. I am very thankful to all the devotees who have kindly been joining since so many weeks, who have been kindly so participative, to all the devotees who memorized the Upadeshamritam, especially our host, Dhameshwar Mahaprabhu Prabhu, who has so kindly hosted all these sessions and been present here answering all the questions between the talk. And thank you so much, Prabhu, for also taking care of the questions after the talk. You're kindly managing all the devotees who are asking the questions. I'm very thankful for all the wonderful Seva, Prabhuji. Really grateful for all that you're doing. Dear devotees, I'll begin today's presentation on Srila Rupa Goswami's Sri Upadeshamritam. You'll be able to see on your screen. Today is the 56th session, and today we are going to conclude the 10th verse of Upadeshamritam. Before we begin, let's ensure auspiciousness for the teacher as well as the students. Dear devotees, we begin with our Vedic Shanti Path. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sahana Bhavatu. May Bhagawan protect both of us, the teacher as well as the student. Sahanau Bhunaktu. May Bhagavan bestow the highest fruit of the study upon both of us. Sahaviryam Karavavahi. May both of us attain the strength to realize the highest truth. Tejasvi Navadhitamastu. May our study shine forth brilliantly. Ma Vidvishavahai. May we never envy each other. Om Shantihi Shantihi Shantihi. May peace pervade the three worlds. Dear devotees, this is the Shanti part from Kathopanishad. We'll move ahead into offering prayers to Sri Rupa Goswami. Dear devotees, at the beginning of the presentation, in the middle of the presentation, and at the end of the presentation, there should be something auspicious. Mangaladini, Mangalamadhyani, Mangalantani hi Shastrani, Pratitani, Veer Purushani Bhavanti, Ayushmat Purushani cha. Patanjali says in his Mahabhashya, those individuals who perform Mangalacharan in the beginning, middle, and end of their events, they become very powerful in their spiritual life. And anybody who studies in such a way also becomes fulfilled in all desires. Therefore, we should perform profuse Mangalacharans so that the author as well as the commentators, all of them bestow their combined mercy upon all of us. This is a verse for Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada. Tyakto bandhubhirutkata prakritibhir naika grahe pidita कुख्यातो जगति तलेति विकला कामादि दुर्वृत्तिभिः सन्नीतोऽत्यवमाननां खलजनैर् बद्धश्च पाशैः कले सर्वोपाय निराकृतः शिवकृते श्रीरूपमेव श्रये. Dhameshwar Mahaprabhu, can you kindly read the translation?
Yes, Prabhuji. Given up by harsh-natured relatives, troubled by various malefic astrological planets, completely ill-reputed in the world, extremely harassed by evil tendencies such as lust, etc., thoroughly disregarded by ruffians, firmly caught in the grips of Kali Yuga, and completely failed in all possible ways. I now take exclusive shelter of Sri Rupa Goswami for attaining auspiciousness.
Thank you, Prabhu. So in this way, we offer our pranams to Srila Rupa Goswami, and we now come to the 10th and the penultimate instruction of Sri Upadeshamritam. Karmebhyah parito hare priyadaya vyaktam yayurgyaninas tebhyo jnana vimukta bhakti parama premaikanisthastata तेभ्यस्तः पशुपालपङ्कजदृशस् ताभ्योऽपि सा राधिका प्रेष्ठा तद्वदीयं तदीय सरसि तां नाश्रयेत् कः कृति. Rameshwar Mahaprabhu, kindly read the word for word.
As compared to the karmis, the jnanis are clearly expressed in Shastra as being dear to Hari in all respects. Dearer than the jnanis are those who have risen above jnana and who consider bhakti to be the topmost process. Dearer than them are those fixed exclusively in Krishna prema. Dearer than them are the lotus-eyed cowherd girls of Raja. Even amongst them, the dearmost is Sri Radhika, who has the greatest essence of prema. This kunda belonging to her is similarly dearmost to Krishna. Which fortunate soul will not take shelter of Sri Radha Kunda?
Wonderful. So till now we have arrived at a point where we have seen how karmis are dear to Sri Krishna, how dearer than the karmis are jnanis, how dearer than the jnanis are those who are liberated, those who have risen above jnana and who consider bhakti to be their topmost process, and how dearer than them are those who are fixed exclusively in Krishna prema. Dear devotees, we have to begin our journey today from this point onwards. But before that, you might have noticed here, Tebhyastah Pashupala Pankaja Drisha. Dearer than them are the lotus-eyed cowherd girls of Vraja. But Tabhya Opi, even amongst them, Sa Radhika is Sri Radhika. And in brackets I have put, who has the greatest essence of prema. I could have simply written, even amongst them, the dearmost is Sri Radhika. But I added something after that. Usually I prefer to avoid adding anything in a literal translation. I want it to be as literal, plain vanilla as possible. But here I have added something in brackets. Sri Radhika, who has the greatest essence of prema, the greatest strength of prema. And why did I add this? Because Sri Rupa Goswami himself has put it in the verse. You may say, where has Sri Rupa Goswami put it in the verse? We will see today where Sri Rupa Goswami has put it in the verse itself. But Tadvad iyam tadiya sarasi. But this kunda belonging to her is similarly preshta, dearmost to Krishna. Kah kriti nashrayeta. Which fortunate soul will not take shelter of that Sri Radha Kunda? So this is the translation of this particular verse. And Dhameshwar Mahaprabhu Prabhu has read out the translation already. Dear devotees, we have seen till this point. Karmis, Jnanis, Jnana Vimukta Bhakti Paramas, Premaika Nishtha. Those devotees who are fixed exclusively in Shri Krishna Prem. They are much dearer than all the previously mentioned devotees. Now, a question arises. There are certainly many premi bhaktas. So, who are the main premi bhaktas that Sri Rupa Goswami is referring to? Who are the most exalted premi bhaktas in this universe that Sri Rupa Goswami is referring to? The commentator had said Naradadi. Sri Radharaman Das Goswami had said Naradadi, Narad, etc. But in etc., who are the main devotees that Sri Rupa Goswami is referring to? In the Padyavali, Sri Rupa Goswami has compiled a verse which is originally from the Pandav Gita. And this verse specifies the main premi bhaktas in this particular universe. This verse is in the meter Vasanta Tilakam, and this verse is as follows. Prahlada Narada Parashar Pundarika Vyasambarish Shukashaunaka Bhishmadalbhyan Rukmangaduddhava Vibhishana Phalgunadi Punyaniman Parama Bhagavatan Namami. So, the first three lines are nothing but names of prominent premi bhaktas. And the fourth line says, Punyaniman, these very pious, auspicious, Parama Bhagavatan, supreme devotees, Namami, I offer my obeisances to. But who are these? Prahlad. So unto the most exalted pure Bhagavatas named Prahlad, Narada, Parashar. Parashar is the father of Sri Vyasadeva. Pundarika. Pundarika is the devotee who caused Bhagavan Shri Vitthal to appear in Maharashtra. Vyasa, Vyasadeva. Ambarish, Sukadeva Goswami. Shaunaka Rishi. Bhishma. Dalbhya is a disciple of Bhagavan Dattatreya, but later took to the path of bhakti and wrote many literatures, many smritis, which detail the path of bhakti. Rukmangada, a king in whose kingdom it was compulsory for everyone to follow Ekadashi. Because he firmly believed in the practice of Ekadashi, he made all his citizens follow Ekadashi, so much so that Yamraj had to come and complain to him that nobody from your kingdom is going to hell. Please do something to fix it. So Rukmangada. Uddhava. We know Uddhava. Vibhishana, the brother of Ravan. Phalguna. Phalguna is another name of Arjuna. Adin, etc. Etc. means there are many others, but these are the primary ones. Punyaniman, to most exalted, pure, Parama Bhagavatan. These Bhagavatas, Namami, I offer my obeisances. Dear devotees, in this entire list, one name is at the beginning. That name is Prahlad, Premi Bhakta. Dear devotees, Prahlad is a very special Premi Bhakta. Prahlad did not have the luxury of a pious birth. Prahlad was not born in a Brahmana family. Prahlad was born in a Rakshasa, in an Asura family. Therefore, sometimes we say, I could not become a nice devotee because I did not have the proper family, proper guidance in my childhood. Prahlad did not have any proper guidance in his childhood. His teachers were demons. His father, in modern terms, we could say he was a child abuser. Not only was he a child abuser, but he was also the abuser of the entire universe. But still, despite all of this, Prahlad became Parama Bhagavata simply by the instructions of Sri Narada Muni. So Prahlad is the role model for all the devotees. This is confirmed by none other than Bhagavan Narasimhadev himself in the 7th canto. When Bhagavan Narsimhadev says to Prahlad Maharaj, Bhavanti purusha loke madbhaktas tvamanuvvrata bhavan me khalu bhaktanam sarvesham pratirupadrik. Purusha loke bhavanti. In this world, there are individuals who follow your way of life. Tvam anuvrata, O Prahlad, and mad bhaktas, they become my devotees. So Narsimhadev is saying that anybody who follows your way of life in this world, they will certainly become my devotees. Bhavan me khalu bhaktanam sarvesham pratirupadrik. You stand as a pratirupadrik, as a role model for bhaktanam, for all my devotees. Prahlad, you are a role model for everybody. Amongst all the premi bhaktas, you are a role model because you never complained or pulled out the victim card regarding all your situations. That I could not do this, I could not follow Ekadashi because my father was torturing me. I could not follow this particular limb of bhakti because my father was abusing me. No, Prahlad, you are a role model. And by looking at you, devotees will say, if he can do it at such a small age, why can't we do it at a mature point of time in our lives? Therefore, O Prahlad, you are the role model for all the devotees. Prahlad is specialized in smarana, the remembrance of Bhagavan in the most difficult situations. Frankly speaking, if one perfects smaran, then all other limbs of bhakti are automatically done. Smartavya satatam Vishnur vismartavyo na jatichit. Sarve vidhi nishedhasyur etayor eva kinkara. One should always remember Bhagavan. One should never forget Bhagavan. All other rules and regulations are subservient to this one rule to always remember Bhagavan and one regulation to never forget Bhagavan. Prahlad perfected this because in the worst situation in his life, Prahlad remembered Bhagavan in such a way that it would be impossible for most individuals to do so. When Hiranyakashipu wanted to slaughter Prahlad, he tried many things, including cutting him to pieces using sharp weapons. When the demons got sharp weapons to kill Prahlad, at that point of time, Prahlad utters a verse which is in the Vishnu Purana, a very nice verse regarding the attitude of Prahlad. Prahlad said, Vishnu shastreshu yushmasu mai chasau vyavasthitah daiteyastena satyena makramantva yudhani me. When the demons came with their swords and they're preparing to attack Prahlad, Prahlad said, Vishnu Shastreshu. O demons, Vishnu is present in all these weapons. Yushmasu, in all of you. Maicha, as well as in me. Vyavasthita, he is situated. Daityastena satyana, by the force of this truth. Makramantu ayudhani me. May these weapons never attack me. This was the smaran of Prahlad. He remembered Bhagavan in the weapon that was about to attack him. This was the level of smaran that Prahlad had. Prahlad could not see any object in the world devoid of Bhagavan. Vasudevam sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. Prahlad has attained that level of realization already. Therefore, neither fire, nor any weapons, nor throwing from hilltops, nor crushing under elephants could kill Maharaj Prahlad, because Maharaj Prahlad saw Bhagavan in each and every entity. This was the level of smaran attained by Shri Prahlad. He saw nothing separate from Bhagavan. So this is the confident smaran of Prahlad. Now, Dhameshwar Mahaprabhu, in which canto of Srimad Bhagavatam is the narration of Prahlad Maharaj?
7, Prabhuji.
Correct. In the 7th canto of the Bhagavatam. And Prabhu, do you know who is narrating to whom?
Narada Muni to Maharaj Yudhisthira
And what is the occasion?
at the Rajasuya Yajna.
At the Rajasuya Yajna. Maharaj Yudhishthir requests Narad Muni to have mercy upon the fallen grihasthas. He considers himself a fallen grihastha and requests Narad Muni to narrate some topics about Bhagavan. Narad Muni narrates the entire episode of Maharaj Prahlad. Now, after hearing all of this, Maharaj Yudhishthir is thinking in his mind, my goodness, how auspicious is Prahlad's life. How wonderful that such a boy got a darshan of Bhagwan. Bhagwan came to him. Bhagwan visited him. And Bhagwan gave him a darshan. And Bhagwan accepted him as a devotee. Amazing is the good fortune of Prahlad Maharaj. At that point, Narad Muni is smiling. Why is Narad Muni smiling at that point of time? Because Narad Muni wants to say to Maharaj Yudhishthir, Maharaj Yudhishthir, you are thinking that Prahlad Maharaj is fortunate. But more fortunate are all of you. Yuyam Riloke Bataburi Bhaga Lokam Purana Munayo Bhiyanti Yesham Grihana Vasaditi Sakshad Gudham Param Brahma Manushyalingam. Narad Muni continued, Maharaj, my dear Maharaj Yudhishthir, Yuyam, all of you, Nriloke Bataburi Bhaga, all of you are very fortunate. For the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna lives in your palace just like a human being. Gudham Param Brahma Manushyalingam. Lokam Purana Munayo Bhayanti. Great saintly persons know this well and therefore they constantly visit this house. Maharaj Yudhishthir, you are thinking Prahlad is very fortunate because he got darshan. Maharaj Yudhishthir, look besides you who is sitting. Who is sitting besides you? Gudham Param Brahma Manushyalingam. That same personality who appeared once as Narsimadev in front of Prahlad. That personality, Grihana Vasiti, stays in all of your palaces as Shri Krishna. And Maharaj Prahlad got darshan once, but Bhagavan Shri Krishna is staying constantly. And please tell me, Maharaj Yudhishthir, did Narsimadev come to Prahlad Maharaj as a close, dear relative? No. But Shri Krishna has come to you as Matuleya, as relative from the mother side. The fortune that you have, Maharaj Yudhishthir, the fortune that all of you Pandavas have, Prahlad did not have. Therefore, all the saintly souls who otherwise will not be able to see Bhagavan face to face, come and visit your home so that they can achieve the ripened fruit of all the austerities that they have performed in their past lives. That is the reason why they come and see Shri Krishna. So, dear devotees, the Pandavas are also premi bhaktas, but they are more fortunate because they are related to Shri Krishna. They may not be immediate relatives, may not be immediate brothers, but they're from the mother side. They are related to Shri Krishna. The dear devotees, there are some who are more fortunate than the Pandavas. And who are more fortunate than the Pandavas? These are the Vrishnis or the Yadus. 101 dynasties directly related to Shri Krishna. It is said in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Tesham pramanam Bhagavan prabhutvena bhavadhari ye chanuvartinastasya vavritha sarvayadava. Tesham pramanam Bhagavan. For the Yadu dynasty, pramanam, the only praman, the only authority was Bhagavan. Prabhutvena bhavadhari. The Yadavas accepted him as their ultimate authority. And amongst them, all those who were his intimate associates especially flourished. Dear devotees, we cannot imagine the supreme good fortune of the premi bhaktas, the Yadus in 101 dynasties that were very closely and directly related to Shri Krishna. What is their good fortune, dear devotees? Their good fortune is शय्यासनाटनालाप क्रीडा स्नानादिकर्मसु न विदुः सन्तमात्मानं वृष्णयः कृष्णचेतसः. Vrishnayah, the Vrishnis were Krishna Chetasa, so absorbed in thoughts of Krishna that they forgot their own bodies. Na viduh santam atmanam. While sleeping, shayya, asana, sitting, walking, talking, playing, bathing, they were all doing it with Shri Krishna. Dear devotees, the Pandavas used to have intermittent visits of Shri Krishna. But Shri Krishna used to stay personally with the Yadus in Dwaraka. There is no comparison, dear devotees, with the good fortune that these Yadus had. They had the best kingdom, the most opulent facilities, and Shri Krishna was always pleased with them. Shayya, while sleeping, the sons of Shri Krishna used to sleep with him. While sitting, the relatives of Shri Krishna would sit with him. While walking, conversing, the ladies would walk and talk to him, playing, bathing, and so on. All of this is going on eternally in the spiritual world in Sri Dwaraka. Who possibly can imagine the good fortune of the Yadu dynasty? So, dear devotees, and yet, just like Ramayana, there was a lot of melancholy. Ramayana specifies in Karun Ras, the mellow of melancholy, because Bhagawan Ram leaves for the forest and for so many years, 14 years, he's banished and then he again suffers separation from Sita Devi. So in general, the kingdom of Ayodhya, especially during the manifest pastimes, there was a lot of melancholy. But in Dwaraka, there was no prolonged separation from Shri Krishna. They enjoyed eternally union with Shri Krishna. Who can imagine the good fortune of the Yadu dynasty? Dear devotees, amongst all the Yadus, there is one particular personality who is the greatest. And who is the greatest in the Yadu dynasty? Dear devotees, this personality is the greatest because he appears to be non-different from Krishna. That personality is Sri Uddhava. The Srimad Bhagavatam says, Vrishninam pravaro mantri Krishnasya dayitah sakha Shishyo brihaspate sakshad Uddhavo buddhisattamah. Uddhavo, Buddhisattama, supremely intelligent Uddhava, was Vrishninam pravaro mantri, the best counselor of the Vrishni dynasty. Krishnasya daitah sakha, a beloved friend of Shri Krishna. Shishyo brihaspate sakshat, and directly a disciple of none other than Brihaspati, the most learned personality in the universe. This was Uddhav. Krishna has a friend who equals him in all aspects, including looks. Therefore, when Krishna was once thinking about how I should conclude my pastimes, whom should I give my final teachings to? Within his own mind, Krishna thought something. No Uddhavornvapi manyu, no, Uddhav is not inferior to me in any way. Anu api, even by a tiny atomic fraction, Uddhav is not inferior to me. This is what Krishna was thinking to himself. And therefore, Krishna decided to give his final teachings to Uddhava. Dear devotees, this Uddhava was such a dear friend and minister. Uddhava is Sankularati. Yes, Sankularati means he has mixed flavors of bhakti. Dasya and Sakhya. Sakhya being prominent. So Uddhav is prominently a friend, but also a servant minister of Shri Krishna. So Krishna needs such a friend and a minister. Because if he becomes a very close friend who can put his hands on Krishna's shoulder, he will not be able to execute the task of a minister. And if he becomes a complete minister, he will not be able to give confidential advice as a friend. He need a person who is situated between both these positions. But even in both these positions, we need one position to be more prominent. Which position to be more prominent? The friend position to be more prominent. Because Krishna primarily needs a friend more than a minister in Dwaraka. Therefore, Uddhava. Such a personality is Sri Uddhava. He can give clear-cut advice, straightforward advice to Sri Krishna. But at some points of time, he knows when to keep quiet. At some points of time, he knows when Krishna should be left alone. Because a complete friend will not leave a friend alone in distress. He will say, "What happened, my dear friend? Tell me." But sometimes a minister knows that my king is slightly busy. Maybe he has some distress, but I'll speak to him later. So this is why all rasas are needed in the spiritual world. And there are personalities who embody these various rasas in their character. For Uddhava, this is his love towards Bhagawan. And Bhagawan considers Uddhava to be non-different from himself. Many days passed in Dwaraka, Uddhav started seeing Shri Krishna is crying sometimes alone in a corner. And how does Uddhav come to know that Shri Krishna is crying in a corner? He sees from a distance that Krishna's shoulders are vigorously shaking. And because Krishna's shoulders are vigorously shaking, Krishna's lotus garland is vigorously shaking. Uddhav comes to know my friend is crying. Seeing the shaking garland of Shri Krishna. The Shri Krishna cannot cry in front of the entire kingdom. He finds it difficult to cry in front of his wives also because he cannot express his heart. Uddhav sees on one particular day the vigorously shaking lotus garland of Shri Krishna, his back turned behind, and Uddhav sees Krishna's back. And Uddhav sees how that lotus garland is shaking vigorously because Krishna is sobbing uncontrollably. At that point of time, Uddhav approaches Shri Krishna, and then Krishna reveals his heart to Uddhav. Krishna says, I tried as much as possible, but again and again I remember the Brajavasis and the promise that I gave the Brajavasis. I want to console all of them, but I have nobody who can understand me except for you. Therefore, I am telling you, O Uddhav, can you please go to Braja and console the Brajavasis who are suffering in separation from me? At this point of time, Uddhav is thinking that suffering in separation is nothing but Maya. Why should one suffer? If one has proper Gyan, knowledge of the impersonal Brahman, then one will not be in any suffering whatsoever. Jnanam labdhva param shantim achirenadhigacchati. Once one attains Gyan, one attains param shanti, the highest tranquility. So definitely I will go and I will console the Brajavasis. Uddhav goes to Vraja. When he arrives in Vraja, the first preference is given to Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda. Dear devotees, he first goes to their home and consoles them by giving various words of assurance. He reminds them that Krishna also thinks of you. So when Uddhav has consoled Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda, He spends the night. In the next morning, he sees, when he is going for his daily morning bathing, his daily morning rituals, when he is bathing in the Yamuna, he sees at a distance that there are some ladies who are crying. These are village ladies. These are the gopis of Vraja. The devotees, there's a big difference between sophisticated city dwelling ladies who have the best facilities for decorating themselves and simple village ladies. He sees those simple village ladies, the gopis. And when he goes to the gopis start asking him various questions without any shame. This is what the gopis say to Uddhav. Kachit gadagrajah saumya karoti purayoshitam प्रीतिम नः स्निग्ध सव्रीड आसोदारे क्षणार्चितः. सौम्य, O gentle Uddhav, Hasa Udar Ekshanarchita. Krishna was adored by us with affectionate, bashful smiles and loving glances. When he was in Vrindavan, we worshipped him with our affectionate, bashful smiles, with our loving glances. Karoti Pura Yoshitam. Does he now impart the same delight to the ladies of the city? This is a sarcastic comment, dear devotees. He took all of our love and affection, and now is he happy offering all of that to the ladies of the city? At this point of time, something changes within Uddhav's heart. Uddhav understands that maybe it was possible for me to impart some gyan to Nand and Yashoda. But here it is impossible. Because not only are these village ladies, but they are also blinded by love, blinded by prema. It is impossible to give my gyan here, especially when they are blinded by prema. Further, these ladies, these gopis said to Uddhav, Katham rati visheshagya priyascha purayoshitaam nanubadhyet tadvakyair vibhramaishchanubhajitah. Rati visheshagya. Krishna is highly expert in rati, Kam Shastra, the art of erotics. And priyascha purayoshitam. Krishna knows all aspects of erotic life. Krishna knows how to increase the lusty desires within the hearts of the ladies. And Priyasta is beloved of all excellent women of the city. Nanubadhyeta tadvakya. How can he fail to be won over by and bound down by their love when he is greeted by their loving words and amorous gestures? So the gopis expressed, dear devotee, this is a very helpless situation. A person who has gone away and has left you with a trauma, and he has added to the trauma by saying that I will return. If he would, while going away, if he would have said that I will not return, the trauma would be more severe but immediate. Right now, he has prolonged the trauma by many decades by saying I will return. And when there is a hope that he will come, so we wake up every day with the hope that today will be that day. And by the end of the day, our hope is shattered each and every day. Better would be for him to say that I will not come. But he doesn't even say that. Instead, he sends people like you. And then we hear of his, time to time, we keep hearing of his adventures in the city of Mathura and Dwaraka with all the ladies. What are we supposed to do? Dear devotees, this type of love. Many times individuals ask, how can the gopis love him when he's already married to somebody else? Why? How can they love him when he is married to the ladies of Dwaraka? Dear devotees, those who ask such questions mostly have not experienced what first love is. When you experience what first love is, and how special that first love is, and how much more special it is when it is towards Shri Krishna, who was all charming in all ways, who was the most flirtatious libertine in Vraja. And when you lose your heart to such a person, and when he is capable of reciprocating with you and making you feel that you were the most special in my life, and when he leaves, even if he gets married to somebody else, it will not change what we had with Krishna, what we had, the relationship that we had with Krishna. That sweetness will never go away. But now that same sweetness gives us pain. So this is why, dear devotees, this is the reminiscing of the first love that the gopis had. Further, the gopis say, Api smriti nah sadho Govinda prastute kvachit Goshti madhye purastrinam Gramya svaira kathantare. The gopis then say, Api smriti nah sadho. Saintly Uddhav, sadhu, during his casual talks amongst the refined ladies of the city, the ladies of the city are very refined in their walking, in their talking. They know how to walk properly. They know their mannerisms are so refined. They eat on tables. They're not like us villagers who eat sitting on the ground. Nah, nobody in Dwarka sits on the ground for eating. Those are refined ladies, and he's always dining with them. He's walking with them with those pristine umbrellas and servants. We are not even fit to see his face. Goshti madhye purastrinam gramya svaira kathantare. Does the Lord of Gokul ever remember us rustic village women while narrating his past activities of Braja? We are very rustic and we are village women. We don't have the hope that he is remembering us ever. We don't have the hope. Uddhav, if you say yes, he remembers us, we will feel happy. But we will not be surprised if he doesn't remember us, because there is no comparison of us villagers, uneducated villagers, with those sophisticated ladies of the city. There is no comparison with them. At this point of time, Uddhav understands why Krishna has sent him. All that sophistication of the city cannot produce the simple hearted love that these village ladies had for Sri Krishna. This love is something Krishna hankered after. The love free of sophisticated mannerisms. The love which is free of all formalities. The love which is free of all unnecessary hindrances born out of opulence and reverence. This love was with the gopis. Krishna was aching in his heart to sit on the floor and eat something with the Brajavasis. Aching in his heart to sit on the floor and eat something. There is no question of sitting on the floor in Dwaraka. First and foremost, Dwaraka doesn't have an earthen floor. In the palaces, it is all made out of precious jewels. The floor that you sit on in Dwaraka, even if you sit on the floor in Dwaraka, it is not the earthen motherly touch of Shri Vrindavan. No. Dwaraka is anyways near the ocean, so it is all ocean sand nearby. The earthen feeling of Vrindavan is lost. And the Vrajavasis and the Gopis are saying, does he remember us villagers? We may not be very high in our mannerisms. We may not be sophisticated in our behavior. But does he remember us? Then the Gopis come to their own conclusion. Kasmat Krishna ihayati prapta rajyo hatahitah Narendra kanya udvahya pritah sarva suhridvritah. Kasmat Krishna ihayati. Why will Krishna come here? Prapta Rajyo, after winning a kingdom. No king till today has returned to become a cowherd. No king in history has returned to become a cowherd. Hatahita, he has killed all his enemies now. Nishkantak Rajya, thorn-free kingdom. There are no thorns on the path of his kingdom. Narendra Kanya Udvahya. And he has married the daughters of all the kings. A king's daughter. From her childhood, she is applied the best of ointments, fragrances, perfumes, cosmetics. She is the most beautiful. They ensure that the daughters of the kings are the most good looking in the entire city. Previously, when the different girls have different bodily complexion, some girls are Shama. Shama means dark complexion. So they know how to decorate a dark complexioned girl so that she looks very beautiful. Some are Gauri, uh, white brilliant white complexion. They know how to decorate such a girl. So she looks very beautiful. So all the varieties of girls who were born in these families of kings, and they were, nourished since childhood, and their beauty was enhanced since childhood. They were prepared for the day when they would marry an appropriate person. And the most appropriate person is our Krishna. It aches our heart. It was our Krishna. And then why he's satisfied there? Why will he come? Why will he ever come back? Now he has all his friends and well-wishers. At this point of time, the devotee poet Sri Hari Suri composes a verse which expresses the feelings of the gopis. लब्धेति भव्यतरगव्यरसेयवागु सक्तो विविक्तमतिरत्र न कोऽपि भूयात् तत्सिद्धमुद्धवसुलब्धवराङ्गनस्य नास्मास्वनादरणमस्य किमल्पिकासु लब्धेति भव्यतरगव्यरसे. Shri Hari Suri gives an example. If opulent milk sweets are profusely available, Viviktamatir, why will an intelligent person become attached to the poor man's barley porridge? There's no reason for somebody to become attached to barley preparations if they have milk preparations, sweet milk preparations. That's Siddham Uddhava. Krishna has now attained the association of excellent ladies Uddhava. Therefore, within him, there is certainly disregard for us gopis who are much lesser than those ladies in all ways. Dear devotees, this is what the gopis are thinking. This is from the point of view of the gopis. They are living in what we can call an inferiority complex, because they can't go there and show their faces in front of the wonderful, beautiful city ladies who are decorated as queens. The queens will laugh on these ladies. Who are these villagers? you know, they don't even dress properly. Some of their clothes are so old, ragged. But love doesn't see ragged clothes. First love doesn't see ragged clothes. But the gopis are, they're not feeling confident enough to make the journey to Dwaraka, because they know there is nothing but inferiority complex kept for us there. There's nothing Krishna is not going to accept us publicly. He's not going to do that. Sri Hari Suri then composes another verse which expresses their heart. अकार्यं कारयित्वा न त्यक्तवान् सम्प्रति प्रभु न धर्मो नापि भगवान् उद्धव इवं दशाजनी. Akaryam karayitva. After making us do what is akaryam, what is forbidden in scriptures. What is forbidden? To fall in love with somebody who's not your husband. That is forbidden for a lady in scriptures. But he made us do it. And after making us do what is forbidden in the Shastra, our Lord has given us up. Tyaktavan, Prabhu. Uddhav, now we neither have religiosity with us nor Bhagavan. If we had not fallen in love with him, we would have worshipped our husbands, and at least we would have religiosity with us. And if he would have accepted us, our husbands would have rejected us, we would have lost our religiosity. But at least we would have Bhagavan. Uddhav, now we have neither religiosity nor Bhagavan with us. This is what it has come to now, Uddhav. This is what it is in our life. Sri Hari Suri expresses the feelings of their heart, that we were ruined, completely ruined in falling in love with this person. Uddhav, we got nothing. After we die, nobody will remember us. Nobody will remember us. The historians are writing history in Dwarka, and there is no mention of us. There is no mention of us. Uddhav, we are ruined. We need, not even dharma is on our side. And there is no consolation from any angle whatsoever. Evam Dashajani. This is what it has come to now. Finally, Sri Hari Suri expresses the feelings of the gopis' hearts. Ayatu ma va grihnatu ma va nama pinah prabhu kushalam bruhi tenaiva dhanyatmano bhavamabho. Ayatu ma va. Let him not come. Never come. Grihnatu ma va nama pinah prabhu. Let him never even utter our name. Kushalam bruhi tenaiva. Uddhav, tell us one thing. Is he okay? Is he doing good? Just by hearing this, by knowing his happiness, we will be fully satisfied with him. That's the only thing now we want. We don't want anything else for ourselves now. This much beyond that. Just tell us if he's doing okay. That's all. Uddhav. We have lost all hope that we will ever come in communication with him. Just tell us if he's doing okay. That's all. When Uddhav heard these statements, when he felt these emotions in the gopis, Uddhav was defeated. He could not be defeated by Nanda and Yashoda, but he was defeated by these simple village ladies. Uddhav keeps quiet. Uddhav is not able to say anything. There is no Brahma Gyan that can bring solace to these feelings. The gopis then seeing the silence of Uddhav, they understand that he is in no position to console them. Then the gopis loudly cry out, He Nath, He Ramanath, Vrajanath Artinashana, Magnamuddhara Govinda, Gokulam Brijinarnavat. He Nath, O Master, He Ramanath, O Master of the Goddess of Fortune, Vrajanath, O Master of Vraja, Artinashana, O Destroyer of all suffering, O Govinda, Magnam Uddhara Gokulam, please lift your Gokul out of the ocean of distress in which it is drowning. So the gopis loudly cry out because they know now that it is no use speaking to Uddhav. Let's directly speak to Krishna. So while speaking to Uddhav, the gopis spontaneously shout out to Shri Krishna, Hey Nath, Hey Ramanath. In this way, the gopis demonstrate a love which not even Uddhav is capable of having. Uddhav is non-different from Krishna. And Uddhav's love is defeated by the love of the gopis. Therefore, Uddhav bows down in front of all the gopis. He falls on the ground of Sri Vrindavan and says, Asamaho charan renu jushamaham syam vrindavane kimapi gulmalataushadhinam. Let me be fortunate enough to become one of the bushes, creepers, or herbs in Vrindavan, because the gopis trample them and bless them with the dust of their lotus feet. Let me become one of the creepers in Sri Vrindavan, because I have never seen such love. In my wildest dreams, I could not see such love in Dwaraka. The residents of Dwaraka don't come near this love that the gopis have. Now I understand why my friend was crying in Dwaraka. Now I understand why he was crying for these villagers. They may be villagers, but their love is of such an exalted degree that the poor Dwarkavasis will not even have a small fragrance of such love. Their sophistication and mannerisms may all be good, but what is the use of all these sophisticated manners if you cannot cry for Krishna in this way? This, dear devotees, proves to us that the gopis are much dearer than all those prema kanishta devotees like Prahlad, Narada, Uddhava, etc. Dear devotees, amongst all the gopis, Radhika Sarvathadhika. Sri Rupa Goswami says in Ujjwal Nilmani, Sri Radha is the greatest amongst all the gopis. Therefore, in this verse, he is saying, Tabhyopi Saradhika. While reading the verse casually, we may not notice Sri Rupa Goswami has hidden something here. Tabhyopi Sa Radhika. Dhameshwar Mahaprabhu Prabhu, kindly repeat after me. You're not unmuted. Tabhyopi Sa Radhika. You're not able to unmute yourself. Okay. No. Okay. All right. I'm not sure what's happening. Okay. No worries. Dear devotees, Sri Rupa Goswami here has hidden something very, very important. Tabhyopi sa Radhika. Please, all of you, repeat after me. Tabhyopi sa Radhika. Sa Radhika. Sri Radha is the dearmost amongst all the gopis. But dear devotees, Rupa Goswami has hidden something. Please look here very carefully. Sa Radhika. If you read it constantly, Sa Radhika, it is Sar Adhika, whose Sar, strength of prem, is Adhika, greatest. Therefore, Sar Adhika, whose essence of love, Sar, Premnah Sar, Adhikam Yasya, Premnah Saram Adhikam Yasya. This is Sar, strength of prem, is Adhika, greatest. Therefore, Sar Adhika, Sar Radhika, Sar Radhika. That is what Rupa Goswami has indicated. There is a hidden play of words here. Tabhyopi Sar Adhika, Sar Radhika. So Sar Adhika means she who is Radhika, but Sar Adhika, whose strength of prema is Adhika, the greatest. Therefore, dear devotees, Sri Radhika is the greatest amongst all of them. And Preshtha Tadvadiyam Tadiya Sarasi, her Kunda is as dear as herself. In the Padma Purana, it is stated and it is quoted in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yatha Radha Priya Vishnus Tasyaha Kundam Priyam Tatha Sarvagopeshu Saivaika Vishnoratyanta Vallabha. Yatha Radha Priya Vishnus, just as Radha is dear to Sri Krishna. Tasyaha Kundam Priyam Tatha. Similarly, her Kunda is also equally dear to. Sarvagopeshu, amongst all the gopis, Saiva Eka, she alone is Atyanta Vallabha, dearmost to Sri Krishna. This is in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 4.215. Dear devotees, which intelligent person will not take shelter of Sri Radha Kunda? Which intelligent person will not take shelter of this Radha? This is what it is, dear devotees. We have reached the conclusion of the 10th verse. Why is Sri Radha so dear to Sri Krishna? This will become the subject of discussion of the 11th verse. And we will give a separate, detailed treatment to the love of Sri Radha in the 11th verse. But at this point of time, I'd like to conclude the 10th verse, the penultimate instruction. As compared to karmis, the jnanis are clearly expressed in Shastra as being dear to Hari in all respects. Dearer than the jnanis are those who have risen above jnana and who consider bhakti to be the topmost process. Dearer than them are those fixed exclusively in Krishna prema. Dearer than them are the lotus-eyed cowherd girls of Braja. Even amongst them, the dearmost is Sri Radhika, Sar Radhika, who has Sar Adhika, who has the greatest essence of prema. This Kunda belonging to her is similarly dearmost to Krishna. Then the rhetorical question, which fortunate soul will not take shelter of Sri Radha Kunda? Certainly, all of you fortunate souls should take shelter of Sri Radha Kunda. Dear devotees, I'd like to conclude with a concluding prayer, a mirror verse to Sri Rupa Goswami. Ye shrutyadi nirukta karma surata, ye brahma tattvarthino, ye vaikuntha sukhapti lolupadiyo, ye dvarakadi priya, te swabhishta gatir labhantu mama kim, te nastu me sarvada, Radha Kunda tati suramya vasati, Shri Rupate Sannidhau. Ye shrutyadi nirukta karma surata. Those individuals who are fully engaged in carrying out various karmas prescribed by the Vedas, etc. Ye brahma tattvarthino. Those who are extremely desirous of understanding the impersonal Brahman. Ye vaikuntha sukhapti lupadhiyo. Those whose mind show eagerness in attaining the happiness of Vaikuntha. Ye dvarkadi priya. As well as those who delight in Dwaraka, etc. Te swabhishta gatir labhantu. May all of these individuals attain their respective cherished goal. Mama kim tena. What difference does that make to me? Astu me sarvada. Radha Kunda titi suramya vasati. Shri Rupa te sannidhau. O Shri Rupa, in close proximity to you. May the banks of Sri Radha Kund become my beautiful, eternal place of residence. Dear devotees, thank you very much. Yadatra skhalitam kinchit vidvamsah purayantu tat. Yadatra saushthavam kinchit tadguroreva me nahi. Yadatra skhalitam kinchit. If there's any mistake in what I said, vidvamsa, your learned devotees, purayantu tat. Please correct what I said. Yadatra saushthavam kinchit. But if there's anything nice in the presentation, please know, tadguroreva. It belongs to my Gurujanas. Me nahi. It doesn't belong to me. All of you are also my Gurujanas. It belongs to you. It doesn't belong to me. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Gaur. Hare Krishna. All right. So it seems that you are I've asked you to unmute. Prabhu, are you able to unmute from your computer? Okay. From the phone, please try.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, Prabhuji. Thank you. Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. My computer froze somehow.
Okay.
But thank you so much for this really beautiful and wonderful class. It's so special to get to hear about all the devotees of the Lord and just what's possible in their character and in their love for Bhagavan. It's so amazing that when we really appreciate it in its true glory, we can't help but be moved and inspired. So thank you so much for sharing that appreciation that you have for all the great devotees of the Shastras and Krishna's Leela. And we'll go now to questions and answers.
Yes. So, Prabhu, should I take over the Q&A or will you be able to handle it?
I'll do my best.
Okay, because you're not on the computer. So I think
Yeah.
let me handle the Q&A today. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, dear devotees. We'll move ahead to the Q&A. Please note a few things that please do not ask any loaded questions related to specific institutions or individuals. Please keep it related to Siddhanta principles. Please make sure that the question is not related to some obscure reference, which I have to dig up. It's mainly related to the topic of the class. And if you have to ask multiple questions, please wait in queue for your next turn. With that, I'll begin with Ananta Vijay Prabhu. Prabhu, I've asked you to unmute.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for wonderful categories of devotees and how their love increases. You mentioned very nicely, especially the love of gopis. So my question is, Prabhuji, while mentioning the various degrees of the love, you gave a reference from the Padyavali of Rupa Goswami. And there was the list of devotees, and in that list you selected the first name, Prahlad Maharaj. And in the same list, Prabhuji, later on, Uddhav's name was also there.
Right.
Then in that list, I understood that greatest is Prahlad Maharaj.
The first is
the
Prahlad
Padyavali.
Maharaj. The first is Prahlad Maharaj. They are headed by Prahlad. Because Prahlad is a role model for all the sadhak devotees in this world. That is what Narsimadev says.
That was only confusion, because later on again we proved that Uddhava is greater than Prahlad Maharaj.
No, we didn't prove he is greater. We proved he is dearer. There is a big difference. The entire verse of Upadeshamritam is not who is greater. The entire verse is Prishtha. It says in the verse, what is the meaning of Prishtha, Anant Vijay Prabhu?
Dearer.
Dearer.
Dearer
That
to
is,
Krishna.
yes, dearer to Krishna. So that is how the proximity to Krishna is what is the deciding factor here. Right?
And the difference between the dearer and greater, I have not. Is those who are dearer to Krishna, they are only great.
That is what we say. You know, some others may say that those who are always close to him physically, the Dwarkavasis are greater because they're always close to him. It depends on which factor you select for proving greatness. We select proximity. Who is dearer? Proximity to heart of Krishna. That is what is the factor we have selected. That is the factor Rupa Goswami has selected in this verse. So I hope that answers your query.
Yes, please.
Right. Next we have Parth Prabhu.
Okay. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
My
Hare
pranam.
Krishna. Okay. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Prabhuji? Okay, Prabhuji. So first of all, thank you, Prabhuji, for your sessions and so your wonderful service. Thank you, Prabhuji. Again, my pranam to you,
Okay.
Prabhuji. So as we have already seen in the verse number 9, and we are also seeing in the verse number 10 the greatness of the Radha Kunda. Not directly, but yes, in the verse number 10 also we are seeing the greatness of the Radha Kunda. But my question is that what if there is some so there's offense to the Radha Kunda, maybe mentally, physically, or different type of the offense there can be. So what if someone has done any kind of offense to the Radha Kunda, then what could be the scenario of that thing like?
There's one thing I would like to say. Yes.
Just one thing that so whenever we have done any parikrama in the Govardhan, so we have already seen many devotee who are washing their feet in the Radha Kund. Okay, so I so it may be not be an offense, okay, but from my side I think it as an offense. So there may be other offense also, which may be an offense, which may not be an offense. So what could be the atonement or perspective of that? With
I got your query. So if we think that we have committed an offense towards Sri Radha Kunda, and that we washed our feet in Radha Kunda, first and foremost, our conception of Radha Kund is not yet built properly. If we are thinking if we are afraid of approaching it, so the conception has to be built properly first and foremost. We have a list of 10 dham aparadhas. We have a list of 10 dham, but this list is not from the Shastra. This is a list from the Acharyas. So the nam aparadhas are from Shastra. The seva aparadhas are from Shastra, but the dham aparadhas are from the Acharyas, Sri Bhakti Vinod Thakur. So that is where we got the 10 dham aparadhas from. Now, if we have performed some dham aparadh, so, or if we have, let's say, as you said, washed your feet in Sri Radha Kunda, etc. First and foremost, in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Sri Rupa Goswami has made a specific statement about atonement. The Sanskrit term for atonement is prayaschitta. So in Sri Rupa Goswami, Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, he has made a statement about prayaschitam. And this is in I am sharing my screen so you can have a look. This is 1.2.64. Nishiddhacharato daivat prayaschittam tunochitam. Nishiddha acharato daivat. Daivat, if by misfortune. Nishiddha acharato, if you commit some forbidden activity. Prayaschittam tu na uchitam. It is not appropriate to think in terms of atonement. Bhakti itself is your atonement. There is no atonement that you can perform for entities which are so dear to Shri Krishna. Bhakti itself is your atonement. Iti Vaishnav Shastranam Rahasyam. This is the secret of Vaishnav Shastras. Tad Vidam Matam. Those who actually know Vaishnav Shastras, they know this secret. So when you are thinking in terms of atonement, first and foremost, the only atonement is sincere regret, and there is no prescribed atonements because this is not karma kand, and this is not something from the Vedic, ritualistic karma that you will have atonement for offenses. So this is, if you think you have performed some offense, then there should be sincere regret and development of proper attitude towards Sri Radha Kunda. Because you are still seeing Radha Kund in terms of a sadhaka. Whereas all the acharyas, including Srila Prabhupada, have encouraged us to see Sri Radha Kund in a different perspective. If you have attended the previous talks, then you will come to know which perspective should Radha Kund be seen from. And when you see from that perspective, and when you take a bath in Radha Kund in that particular identity, there is no question of any offenses. So that is what I would like to say. Thank you very much. Next, we have...
Yeah, I was able to regain control of my computer.
Thank you, Prabhu. You
Shall
can yeah, please.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Next, we have Mihika Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you very much for the class on Radhakund and like the feelings of the gopis. Prabhuji, my question is that like you said that Uddhav was able to console Mother Yashoda and Nand Maharaj. So like what was their reaction to it? Like the gopis, like Uddhava wasn't able to console them, but like he was for Mother Yashoda. Like how did they react that Uddhava knew how to console them?
No. The thing is, Uddhav at least tried a little bit to offer words of consolation to, Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, and but in the very beginning of, the 47th chapter, the gopis saw him and they understood that this particular person has come to give news of assurance to Nanda Maharaj and to Mother Yashoda. He has not come for us mainly, because Krishna might be worrying about his parents. Why will Krishna worry so much about us? Therefore, they did not approach Uddhav directly. So that is what they on the next day after Uddhav had consoled Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda, then on the next day Uddhav approached them. So that is what it is. When he came to visit Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda, at that time he had said apyayasyati govindah swajanan sakradikshitam. So he was asked a question that will Shri Krishna come even once? So at that time Uddhav had replied to their particular query, and Uddhav had then basically given consolation to both of them. And what did he say to both of them? First and foremost, he said to Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj that you are supremely fortunate. There is nobody like you. Then he tried to give them gyan that this Krishna and Balram are the original cause of the universe. And they regulate all the living entities. And anybody who meditates upon them as much as you are meditating, he attains, he merges with the Supreme, and he attains the topmost destination. And this all gyan, And then he said, agamishyati ati dirghena. So soon, very soon he will come. He gave a assurance to Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj. So those many assurances he was able to give, and so much gyan he was able to speak. But in front of the gopis, he couldn't speak anything of this nature. So that is the answer to your query. I hope that satisfies
Thank
your
you,
query.
Guruji.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Guruji.
Next we have Omkar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for the katha today, Prabhuji. It was very sweet and very enlivening.
Thank you.
I had a small question. For that, I would say that the son has inherited all the qualities of his father.
Thanks.
Like Guru Maharaj, you also basically presented the katha in such a enlivening way. Thank you for the katha, Prabhu. Prabhuji, sometimes we see that Uddhava is sometimes depicted as a Brahmagyani in the poems of Rasik Bhaktas. And in Bhagavatam, generally the description is that he is more of like Aishwarya Pradhan Bhakta.
Yeah.
So sometimes this is kind of switching off and on. So could you please
Right.
explain this point?
Yeah. See, historically, he is what Rupa Goswami describes him to be. That, you know, he is Sankula Rati. He is mainly Sakha, but mixed with Dasya Bhav of a Mantri. That is what he is historically. Kavis take him to certain extremes to prove the superiority of the Vrajavasis and the Gopis, which is justified for a Kavi. So that is what can be said in this regard. So Kavis may sometimes depict him as an extreme Brahmagyani in order to show the contrasting superiority of the Vrajavasis, which is all right, which is good. No harm in doing that as a poet. But Sri Hari Suri is he takes the literal meaning of the Bhagavatam, but then he, pulls out all these emotions from those various verses. That's all, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. I'm not fit to be a shoe shiner of my Guru Maharaj because I don't know when I'll have such a smaran that he has. But thank you for kindly reminding me of him. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Tilak also suits the discussion. Hare Krishna.
Next we have Kamniya Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Babaji, our humble obeisances to at your lotus feet, Dhameshwar Mahaprabhu and all the Vaishnavas Babaji. A very wonderful, hard melting and relishing class Babaji, like when you describe about that Gopi's situation, in front of Uddhava. So Babaji, you briefly touched upon that when Krishna left Vrindavan, he mentioned that he will come back. So I'm little bit, I would say, surprised and confused too, that why he mentioned like that when he knew, he, I believe he knew that he might not be able to come back in a way that he used to have a pastime in Vrindavan, not that way he used to be able to come back. So is there any specific reason or something which is mentioned by enlightened by our acharyas or Harishuris, is that why he said that three words which is like difficult to perceive?
So, Prabhu, the reason why he did not come back is because through the Vrajavasis and through the Vrajagopis, it will be shown what is the highest fruit from the tallest tree. That is the love of the Vrajavasis and the Gopis will be shown, because this type of separation is technically known as Sudur Pravas. In the literature of Sri Rupa Goswami, in the Rasa literature, it is called Sudur Pravas, where Bhagavan has gone away and there is not even a possibility of him returning anytime soon. So this is called as Sudur Pravas. And still there is a hope that he will return. Because if that hope is lost, see, in Ayodhya when Bhagavan Ram went, there was a hope that he will come back. Because it was related to time. After 14 years, he will come back. Here also, if Bhagavan says, I will not come back, let's say if Bhagavan Ram would have told Ayodhya Vasis, I will not come back. what would have happened in Ayodhya if Bhagwan Ram would have said, I will not come back. They would have said, now that's enough. We don't want to live. Let's, let's finish our lives here. So that hope is what keeps these people alive. And that is what shows us the various shades of separation. And there are 10 stages of viraha, the 10th one being mrityu, almost death, which is seen in the case of Sri Radha. But we will come to that gradually. So that is why to show prem parakashta, the highest stages of love, Bhagavan promises but then doesn't come back. And Shri Rupa Goswami in Laghu Bhagavatamritam specifies that Bhagavan actually came back after a few months. He came back. This is in another Purana that Bhagavan came back after a few months. So I'll try to find out that verse from Laghu Bhagavatamritam. Because yeah, I will show you the verse now. This is in Laghu Bhagavatamritam, where Rupa Goswami says something. Rathena Mathuram Gatva. He went to Mathura on a chariot. Dantavakram Nihatyacha. And the demon finally killed, the final demon killed was Dantavakra. Spashtam, clearly, it is mentioned in Padma Puran. Asya Krishnasya Ukta Vrajagati. It is said that Krishna came back briefly to Vraja after killing Dantavakra. So he made a secret visit to Vrindavan. And then the Acharyas explained that after he came back, actually Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. The four-handed Vasudev leaves Vrindavan. Two-handed Krishna always stays back in Vrindavan. So there are pramanas for that also. That Padam ekam na gacchati. That Bhagavan does not take a single step out of Sri Vrindavan. So that is, these are also there. But this is the difference between aprakat and prakat lila. Aprakat means the unmanifest eternal pastimes. Bhagavan never leaves Vrindavan. But in the manifest visible pastimes to the people of the world, Bhagavan leaves Vrindavan. Once you understand from the tattva point of view, then there will be no doubts. But even from the manifest point of view, after some time after killing Dantavakra, he had come to Raja again for a short period of time. That is the answer to your query, Prabhuji. Right. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Babu. Wonderful explanation. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Next we have Bhagavata Gita Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Guruji.
My
Hare
pronouns.
Krishna. You don't hear me?
Yes.
Thank you, Guruji. Please accept my obeisances. Thank you, Guruji, for a wonderful class. Prabhuji, regarding the same question which Prabhuji asked now, there is one verse in first canto, the talk by the ladies of Asinapur and Krishna coming back to Dwaraka. They also say that when you go to meet Kurus, Madhus, that time it is separation from you. They also referring to Krishna coming to Vrindavan too.
No, they don't.
Madhus, that time.
No, Krishna never, they don't refer because it was not possible for Krishna to tell them publicly that I will return to Vrindavan. Because Nanda and Yashoda were his dearmost parents and he did not want any king to harm the villagers, any enemy king to harm the villagers. Therefore, he never told in public that I will return to Vraja. Or even when he was crying in front of Uddhava, he used to cry privately. All of this was his private, the dearmost to his heart, which he cannot express in public. In public, if he says, I will go to Vraja, what will Dwarkavasi say? They will laugh at him. Why you want to go to your cowherd life? What is remaining there in that life? You've clearly advanced to the city. Why do you want to go back to that village again? And it happens even today. As a person who's from the village, he comes to the city, and then if after a few years he says, no, I think I will go back to my village and stay there forever. People will say, what's wrong with you? You clearly spent so many years advancing to the city, and then now you have to go back to the village. So that is what, therefore these things are not to be expressed in public, and Krishna never expressed this in public. This was always to his private and confidential people like Uddhava, etc. So that is what it is.
So the Madhun is referring to what exactly in that sloka? Kurun Madhun. When you
Madhu,
speak of Madhu,
residents of Madhupuri, basically those who are still staying around, because after the attacks of Jarasan, many people fled Mathura. So those who came back and still they are residing around Mathura area. So he will go and visit those people. That is what it is referring to.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Next.
Next we have Rukmini Vallabha Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, humble obeisances. Prabhuji, if we compare like Krishna with Vishnu Tattvas, our acharyas have given a very logical analysis of their qualities, and we can also they showed how in terms of their pastimes also how even Mahavishnu wants to get association of Krishna like that. And even in the five principal rasas with Krishna also, they have shown in a logical fashion how Madhurya Ras is, means it has all the aspects of the previous rasas and it has something extra. But if you see, like, if you in contrast of Radharani with other topmost gopis of Krishna like Palika and Chandravali, etc., we don't see, I have not come across any analysis like that. And it's sometimes it sounds like a statement, no, rather than the supremest gopi or her love is 1,000 times more and all. And there are no pastimes of those other gopis and all. So it becomes a little difficult to make some logical sense. So is there any reason for it? Or?
So the question is why are there so comparatively lesser pastimes of other gopis? That is what you are asking?
Yes, and there is no logical way, means there is Ruchi Praya and Vichara Praya. So in terms of developing attraction for Radharani, is it more like Ruchi Praya than Vichara Praya? Something like this is my question.
Yeah, the thing is, the comparison that is done between the love of the other gopis and the love that Sri Radha has, it is something to be experienced. It is not something you mathematically measure. And because even Sukadeva Goswami is biased towards Sri Radha because he mentions her indirectly in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Therefore, it is clearly proven that her love is actually superior to the love of the other gopis. Otherwise, Sri Sukadeva Goswami also would not have mentioned. He would have neutrally mentioned all the gopis. But he mentions one particular gopi separately. Even when Uddhav comes, there is one particular gopi again mentioned who starts speaking to a bumblebee, Brahmar Geet. That particular gopi is also Sri Radha. So in the Bhagavatam itself, she is highlighted for her exquisite love. So that is why the Acharyas also specify her love as being the topmost. There are literature in which other gopis' love and other gopis' pastimes are also mentioned. Especially in the Gopi Gita, every gopi is speaking one verse, and then many acharyas bring out the name, which gopi is speaking this, which gopi is speaking that. So they bring out the names. But specifically, they want to highlight Sri Radha's love because her love has all the aspects of love which the other gopis have. So that is the reason why they highlight her specifically. But you will have many verses also for other gopis also are there. In Lalit Madhav, Vidag Madhav also, there are a few verses spoken by other gopis. So you will find some of those verses too. That is the answer.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Next we have Paramakaruna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
In the same light, which scriptures may have more descriptions of the Raktak and Patrak, Prabhuji? Or those in the Dasya Bhava of in Vraja?
So Prabhu, there are In Gopal Champu, you will find some description of devotees who are in Dasya Bhav, Madhukantha and Snigdhakantha. They are in that particular mood. And then you may find some in Anand Vrindavan Champu. You may find in, so in literature like the Champu literature, you may find some of them. And remaining you may find in, literatures like Padyavali, etc. So in compilations, you may find some moods of the dasas. So that is what it is, Prabhuji.
I have a question, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
What I've heard, hope Ranga's not too loud. What I've heard about the reason why Sukadeva Goswami doesn't mention the name of Srimati Radharani is that it would bring too much overwhelming bliss and joy and ecstasy.
Yes. That's one of the reasons that it would immediately put him in samadhi, and then he would be unable to continue the narration of the Srimad Bhagavatam. That is one reason. Another reason is, Atma Nama, Gurur Nama, one should not publicly speak the name of one's Guru. There are many reasons given like this by various commentators. Yes, Prabhu.
I believe that there are explicit mentions of the name of Radharani in other Puranas.
Yes.
And
But
so is that
Sukadeva Goswami is not the speaker there. Shaunak Rishi is the speaker. Sutta Goswami and Shaunak Rishi are the speaker and listeners there. Sukadeva Goswami is exclusively the speaker for Srimad Bhagavatam.
And why is it we don't also put emphasis on those sections of those other Puranas, so we don't see those quoted so much, but always Bhagavatam?
The reason for that is because the other Puranas may give certain pastimes, but the greatest sweetness of pastimes, the greatest sweetness of the mood of the gopis, the sweetness of the mood is brought out in Srimad Bhagavatam to the greatest degree. That is why. When Vyasadeva was satisfied with the degree of sweetness in Bhagavatam, that is why we prefer that level of sweetness. That is the reason why.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
One more question. I haven't heard so much about Parashar Muni as a devotee, especially as what qualifies him as one of the devotees who stand out the most.
Right.
Could you speak to that?
Yeah, Parashar Muni is the father of Sri Vyasadeva. And, Parashar Muni, previously he was such a great sage. He compiled so many Smriti literature related to the practical day-to-day application of Shri Krishna Bhakti. And that was his particular mood, that not only did he want to speak on Dharma Shastras, but also specific Bhakti related Dharma Shastras he wanted to speak a lot. So there is a Dharma Shastra named Parashar Smriti, which is like general Dharma Shastra for the society. But Vishnu Puran is mainly narrated by him. And so all the bhakti that you see coming out in Vishnu Puran is mainly coming through him. So that is where you will find a great, so most of the pastimes from Sri Krishna's life, most of the pastimes of Prahlad's life, Jad Bharat's life, all of them are also narrated in Vishnu Puran, but mainly from Parashar Muni's point of view. So that is what is the difference. You see, Bhagavatam is from Vyasadev's point of view. Vishnu Puran is mainly from Parashar Muni's point of view. So just like Vyas is mentioned in the Padyavali verse, but what is the bhakti of Vyas? The bhakti of Vyas is he saw in Samadhi all these pastimes and meditated upon them and wrote them for everybody's benefit. So similarly, Parashar Muni did with the Vishnu Puran. But Sri Vyasadeva was still not satisfied with the Vishnu Puran because he wanted to have a specific 10th canto in great detail. So that's why Bhagavatam. That is what it is, Prabhuji. Right.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. I really love these classes so much, and I feel sad we're coming to an end today. I feel sad that we're approaching the last verse. I think we need more verses, more classes. We just start over with Vacha Begum, and I'll happily come every week. So thank you so much for all the time and care and thought and love that you put into these classes. It's really, really wonderful.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
And actually, it looks like we have one question.
Yeah.
If that's okay, we got
Yeah, sure.
We have a question from Bhagavata Kata, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get this understanding clear about the Madhun. I was reading Vishnu Thakur commentary. I pasted in the chat. If you could see. He is referring Madhun, referring to Nanda Praja. You will see the chat.
Yeah, I saw his commentary. This is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Obviously, he wants to say that Krishna visited Vrindavan. Did I not show the verse from Laghu Bhagavatamrit where it says that Krishna visited Vrindavan?
Yeah.
Let me show you the commentary straight in front of you. See here. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, this is where he says, see here, Madhun Mathura Mandala. What is the primary meaning of Madhun, Prabhuji?
Mathura Mandal.
Then see, the actual meaning is Nanda Vrajam Ityartha. Not Nanda, this is Nanda Vraj is the actual meaning. But see what Sridhar Swami says. See, Sridhar, what does Sridhar Swami says? How does he interpret Madhun?
Mathuramba. Madhun Mathuramba.
That's the meaning I gave
Mathura.
to you, na? Mathura, na? That's the meaning I gave to you.
Yes.
But you are asking why is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur saying in this way? Because Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is a Gaudiya Vaishnava. And I also gave you the Gaudiya Vaishnava point of view, that, Gaudiya Vaishnava knows that Krishna came secretly to Vrindavan. So Gaudiya Vaishnava will give that point of view also. But Sridhar Swami says
he is giving internal meaning.
The internal meaning is being given there. Sridhar Swami says he came back to Mathura. He doesn't say Nanda Vraja. Sridhar Swami says he came back to Mathura. Now in Mathura, whom will he meet? Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says Mathura was deserted because everybody had been taken to Dwarka. Mathura was deserted. So whom will he meet? Obvious implication is that people who were still remaining after Jarasandh had attacked so many times, still there were some people remaining. Those people he might have met. But in actuality, he came to Vraja, but this is not publicly revealed. The question was, why was it not publicly revealed? And I gave you the reason also, because it cannot be revealed publicly. If it is revealed that Vrajavasis are dear to Krishna, they're still staying there, what will Jarasandh do? Can you tell me, Prabhu?
He will attack Vrindavan.
And does Krishna want that to happen?
No.
So the official interpretation of Madhun is Mathura. But the internal interpretation of Madhun is Vraja, Nanda Vrajam. That is what it is. Right?
Yes. Thank you for clarification. I was thinking till now that they are knowing about it.
No.
Dwarka Vasa.
But Krishna always wanted to protect Vrajavasis from the attacks of Jarasandh. That is what.
Yes.
Right?
Correct. Thank you. Thank you.
Next, we have a question from Damodar Leela Mali.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, can you hear me?
Yes, Mataji, yes.
Hello? Prabhuji, the discussion that was just happening about Lord Krishna visiting Vrajavasis. In Srimad Bhagavatam, I was reading that one of the reasons why it was not given Srimad Bhagavatam was also because Sukadeva Goswami thought that Parikshit Maharaj would find it unfair that the Vrajavasis were taken back to the Golok Vrindavan in such a nice manner, whereas the Maushal Leela resulted in a very unpleasant way. The Yadu dynasty was taken away because as per Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary, at the end when Lord Shri Krishna visits Vrajamandal after killing Dantavakra, then he takes them back to the spiritual world, whereas Yadus were taken away in a very unpleasant manner. So it will sound unfair because Parikshit Maharaj is
to the Yadus.
He'll feel sorry for the Yadus and he's close to them. So that was one of the things which I remember was mentioned as one of the reasons why it is not mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yeah, this could be also another reason that, it was not mentioned, it is not directly mentioned that Krishna went and met the Vrajavasis. But it is a fact that Krishna went and met the Vrajavasis secretly. So many acharyas give various reasons. They try to make sense out of the entire situation in the commentary. And but the main reason, mukhya karan, seems to be that Krishna did not want it to be revealed to the public in general. Although Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has given other reasons, and they are secondary reasons. But the main reason, let's say, why did Krishna not go to Vrindavan? Why did Krishna not publicize he's going to Vrindavan? So is Krishna going to think, oh, in future Parikshit will come and then Parikshit may not like it, therefore I will not go now? That obviously Krishna knows past, present, and future. So Krishna, that could be one reason, but it cannot be the main reason. So I specified what the main reason is. So I hope that answers the query.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have another question, Prabhuji.
Yeah, sure, Prabhu.
When our acharyas or when we as devotees are trying to understand the relative dearness of different devotees, different perfected devotees of Krishna, like Prahlad Maharaj, Narada Muni, Uddhava, the gopis, etc. How important is the extent to which they suffered or were willing to suffer for Krishna or for bhakti?
Prahlad, from an external point of view, Prahlad suffered the most because Prahlad was literally attacked with weapons, and so ras consideration is the most important. Not from external suffering is not the most important here. The consideration of ras is the most important here. That is the answer to the query.
And what makes rasa more important than that kind of sacrifice?
Raso vaisa, Krishna himself is rasa. Rasam hi eva labdva anandi bhavati. Taittiriya Upanishad. On obtaining rasa, the jiva also becomes happy, and obtaining rasa, Bhagawan also becomes happy. Bhagawan is also hankering for rasa, jiva is also hankering for rasa. The greater the degree of rasa, the greater the enjoyment for Bhagawan and for the jiva. That is what makes dearer.
So those devotees are closer to the actual substance of what Krishna is.
Right.
Thank
That's
you so much.
Thank
you. Next we have Paramakaruna Prabhu.
Prabhuji, just a comment here or an observation on the topic of rasa. I was reading from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that just before the 64 limbs, or a little bit before that, around verse 59, 58 or 59 of the second chapter, Srila Rupa Goswami mentions the various hierarchies and goes all the way up to
Vedepi Shri Krishna Swarupayo Rasayanotkrishate Krishna Esha Sthiti. That's the verse you're saying.
Even he differentiates Dwarka Krishna from Raj Krishna. And before he has differentiated Lord Narayana and all, and he says the reason is rasa, or it's on the basis of rasa.
Right.
So thank you for sharing that. And I was hoping that someday I will ask you this question to clarify or maybe expound or give your explanation a little bit more on this topic of rasa being the differentiator.
Siddhantatastva bhedepi. In Siddhanta, there is no difference between the bodily composition of Bhagavan Narayan and bodily composition of Shri Krishna. Shri Krishna Swarupayo. Both of them are Satchidananda. But Rasena Utkrishyate Krishna. Krishna turns out superior in terms of rasa. And why? Rasa is like that, so what to do? What can I do? Rupa Goswami says, the rasa is like that, the Krishna turns out superior. What should I do? In other aspects, other incarnations may turn out superior. Probably who's superior in killing Kshatriyas 21 times? Krishna or Parshuram?
Sri Parshuram.
Yes. But the factor that you have selected is, who's superior in speaking the truth? Krishna or Ram?
Lord Shri Ram.
Yes. But when it comes to rasa, who is superior?
Shri Krishna.
Yeah, so why? Because rasa is built in this way. What can I do, Rupa?
So, Prabhuji, the follow-up question, or probably if you could share a little bit more or expand a little bit more. why the criteria of rasa is chosen. Like you mentioned, a couple of criteria of killing Kshatriyas being a metric or truth being a metric. Why rasa as a metric? It probably gives a sense that that metric, choosing rasa as the metric, is a, I don't know what's the right adjective, I'll just say it's more superior or better than the other metrics. Why so?
There are
Why
many,
rasa?
many reasons why. First and foremost, Sri Rupa Goswami was a devout follower of Bharat Muni. Devout, sold out follower of Bharat Muni. Rupa Goswami never wanted to deviate even little bit from what Bharat Muni specified in Natya Shastra. And Natya Shastra is the foundational text of rasa. And also because rasa is the closest, the rasa is direct experience of happiness for every living entity without any other qualifications. If you give rasa to a living entity will become happy. So that is what rasa is actually. So because it is so close to the direct happiness of the living entity, because it is so well established by Bharat Muni, because it is such a well established principle even by Sridhar Swami in his commentary to Srimad Bhagavatam, therefore Rupa Goswami chose this particular principle as the distinguishing factor. And not only that, hasn't Vyasadeva said in Bhagavatam, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, Krishna is the actual self Bhagavan. Why? From which angle is Krishna Bhagavan? From which point of view is Bhagavan? If you analyze, actually Krishna is Bhagavan from the rasa point of view. So that is what it is. And rasa consideration
Wonderful.
is absolute consideration. That is why Krishna is, the supreme personality of Godhead.
One thing I'm taking away from this is that rasa, as you very rightly pointed, is connected to one's happiness. And happiness comes, that's a very, very wonderful point. I was just connecting it to, I was reading a summary of the Shri Priti Sandarbha where he says happiness is the fundamental thing, and then, builds up from there the whole discussion. And that's such a fundamental point about happiness, and that's being connected to rasa is a very, very, I think it's a very beautiful, very
if you
very
take
significant and very foundational principle that you brought out. Thank you.
Because if we take other principles like Gyan, so there are some people will have Gyan, some people will not have Gyan. Some people are eligible for Gyan, some people are not eligible for Gyan. If you take any other principle as the foundational principle, you will have some people who are not qualified. But there is nobody who is unqualified for rasa, because all living entities are capable of experiencing rasa. So universal principle has been selected for determining who is the supreme personality. And that's what it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Next we have Bhagavata Katha Prabhu. Are you there, Bhagavata Katha Prabhu?
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
You mentioned that sloka from Padyavali regarding all the different great devotees. I just wanted to what about Parshit Maharaj? Is there any information about his position or dearness to Lord? What is the destination he attained? Is there any mention about Parshit Maharaj?
At the end of the 12th canto, it is specified that the Bhagavatam says that he attained the Brahman. That is what it says. Bhagavatam says he attained Brahman. But Sri Jiva Goswami specifies that it simply means that he crossed through the border of the impersonal Brahman, attained the spiritual world, because his main aim of listening to the Bhagavatam was to listen about the pastimes of Sri Krishna. So his attainment cannot simply be the impersonal Brahman. His attainment is the spiritual world. His attainment specifically is Hastinapur, where Sri Krishna is eternally situated as the well-wisher of the Pandavas. So that is what Jiva Goswami explains in that particular section. He is not mentioned in the verse of the Padyavali, because the verse of the Padyavali says Adi, etc. So that etc. is, but in other lists of great devotees, his name is also included. So that is what it is. I hope that satisfies your query, Prabhuji. Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next we have Omkar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu Dandapana. Prabhuji, this question is from the last class which I had asked in the chat. Is it okay to ask here?
Sure, Prabhuji.
Prabhu, last time you explained how a bhakta who has some material desires, a Vaidhi bhakta, he will basically go through the other planetary systems and exhaust his enjoying tendency and then attain Bhagavan. But in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami says that Uttama Bhakti can be practiced by Vaidhi Sadhaka and Raganuga Sadhaka both. So, and in the course of Uttama Bhakti, Anartha Nivritti is also there. So, why can't a Vaidhi Sadhaka, like who is in the earthly planet, who is doing sadhana, and then he'll directly attain Sadhya Mukti? Because Sadhya Mukti is also given by our acharyas.
He can attain Sadhya
Like, if we
Mukti.
go by the
He can attain Sadhya Mukti if in his Vaidhi sadhana, he quickly progresses through Anartha Nivritti, comes to Nishtha Ruchi. Let's say he doesn't cover his Anartha Nivritti is not fully done, but Bhakti is the primary process of his life. Then what is the destination?
Yes, that would be Swargalokas. But wouldn't his desire also matter? Like, let's say if he wants to take birth in the Bharatvarsha itself.
If he has a very strong desire and prays to Bhagavan similarly, that may be considered. But main thing is Anartha Nivritti, getting rid of Anarthas. How do you get rid of Anarthas? Sometimes you get rid of them by enjoying them out. That is how you get rid of some Anarthas, isn't it?
Yes, bro.
So, like
yes, bro.
This Pururava, whom did he enjoy with?
His wife.
And then,
okay.
Huh?
I think Urvashi.
Urvashi. And after enjoying with Urvashi, was he satisfied or dissatisfied?
No, initially he was not.
Yeah. And then finally Urvashi left him. And then, after all this enjoyment,
Yes.
and then Urvashi left him, and then he tried to perform a Vedic sacrifice, and then he said, fire upon me. And, all realization he had after his, after so many. How did Yayati Maharaj attain Anartha Nivritti?
After a prolonged enjoyment.
Wonderful. So what is the meaning of Anartha Nivritti?
The obstacles for attaining bhakti are removed.
Either by renunciation or either by cultivation of principles of bhakti or by enjoyment or by any way whatsoever, they are removed. Mainly they are removed by the practice of bhakti. But sometimes they are removed by an experience of enjoyment. That is what it is.
Yes. And true for a Raganuga Bhakta, like, could we say what will be like if he does not perfect his life in this, his devotion in this life itself? Because sometimes we see our acharyas do not give so much focus on these stages for a Raganuga Bhakta.
The thing
They say
is,
he attains very
the thing is for a Raganuga Bhakta, because he was aiming directly for the mood of the Brajavasis, he had some desire, but so then Bhagavan will definitely take that into consideration. But when Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur was speaking in the Bhagavad Gita commentary, he was speaking mainly for the Vaidhi Bhaktas.
Yes.
Bhagavad Gita, he was speaking for the Vaidhi Bhakta. Raganuga Bhakta, case to case, because how many will be Raganuga Bhaktas? Amongst thousands of Vaidhi Bhaktas, there will be few Raganuga Bhaktas. Case to case basis, Bhagavan will look it up. Right?
Yes. So we could say that they may take birth in the physical Vraja itself, or maybe.
It may happen that they may take birth in, they may, if they have not, Anartha Nivritti is not done, they may take birth on earth again in a very nice devotee family, continue their practice. That may take place.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so now I will invite all the devotees to unmute and give a big thank you to Hari Parashar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
for
this wonderful
Dandavat
class.
Pranam. Thank you
Thank
very much.
you.
Prabhuji. Hare
Prabhupada ki
Krishna.
jai.
Hare
Srila Prabhupada
Hare
ki
Krishna
jai.
Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Beautiful
jai.
class.
Ananta Koti
Thank you,
Vaishnava.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Jai.
Ananta Koti
Hari
Vaishnava
Prabhu
ki jai.
ki jai.
Srila
Sriman Hari
Prabhupada ki
Prabhu.
jai. Prabhupada ki jai.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you very much for a wonderful class
Thank
today.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Thank you. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila
Thank
Prabhupada.
you,
Thank you.
everyone, for your association. So wonderful to be here with you, and we'll see you again next week.
Thank you. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare
Hare
Krishna. Hare Bol.